Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you've all been enjoying the uploads so far. So today I want to talk about Draco Malfoy and what he went through after losing his wife Astoria to a blood curse. As many of us are aware, Draco was best known for his bullying antics during his Hogwarts days. We've all seen him at his happiest, which was making others' lives a misery, especially Muggle-born students, and we've seen him break down under the pressures of being a Death Eater. However, Draco was very fortunate to come away with everything still intact for him after the Battle of Hogwarts, after the war. He still had both parents, he lost nobody important to him, and most notably, he and his family got off completely scot-free without any punishment. So, fast forwards to 2 decades later, his wife Astoria succumbs to her illness and Draco is now left with his son to fend for themselves without the woman that's always been a constant presence. How did he deal with her passing? What about his son Scorpius? What happened to Draco after the war? Let's continue the video and find out. Okay guys, continuing on from the introduction. So, it's no surprise to know that Draco Malfoy was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He had no want or no need for anything. He never knew any struggles or hard times, and his parents were so wealthy that neither of them had to work. Lucius spending his time meddling in the ministry. Draco was raised as a bigot. It was all he ever knew. It was instilled within him. His father made sure that his son knew that pureblood wizards were the dominant and better race. Draco was taught that Muggles and Muggle-borns were a disgrace to the magical world, and that to associate with them was despicable, unthinkable, and just utterly unforgivable. And in Draco's defense, this belief was heavily enforced upon him, so he enforced it himself with the view to one day becoming a Death Eater should the Dark Lord ever return. Draco's main goal was to make his father proud, to show him that he was continuing to set the example his father once had before him. He particularly took a liking to making Hermione Granger's life a misery. So eventually he begins thinking for himself, relents on being a Death Eater, and walks away from that life. Presumably with his mother and father too, by the looks of their exit before the Battle of Hogwarts had ended. However, that wasn't entirely the case for his parents, as they still upheld their pure-blood supremacist beliefs, after everything. Fortunately for Draco, Voldemort, Death Eaters and avid pure-blood supremacist views were a life of the past. After so much death in both wars, Draco realised what was important, and appealing to an outdated practice was not one of them. His wife, Astoria, felt just as, if not more strongly on the situation. Astoria, being from the Greengrass family, was also brought up in a similar environment as Draco, although not as strict. She didn't see the stigma surrounding the mixture of magical and Muggle blood, and pushed Draco to embrace similar thinking, which he did. They loved each other very much and spent many happy years together before conceiving a child despite Astoria's illness, which was a blood curse passed down through previous generations. The curse, which was not genetically based, was placed upon the bloodline by an enemy of the Greengrass family. Now, it's not to be confused with the maledictus blood curse that Nagini suffered with. And on that note, it would be nice to actually come across more information on how such curses could be created and placed upon a bloodline. It seems like really dark magic. Anyway, what was certain is that it was always going to claim Astoria's life, and her illness was accelerated due to her pregnancy. Now, despite Draco's worries and protests to her over the effects of conceiving a child, he knew it was what his wife truly wanted. She gave birth to a healthy baby boy, Scorpius Hyperion Malfoy. Now, with that being said, Draco was fully prepared to have the Malfoy line end with him if it meant his wife lived longer. I didn't want to risk her health. I said it didn't matter whether the Malfoy line died with me. Whatever my father said. But Astoria, she didn't want a baby for the Malfoy name, for pureblood or glory, but for us. Our child, Scorpius, was born. It was the best day of both our lives, although it weakened Astoria considerably. We hid ourselves away, the 3 of us. I wanted to conserve her strength, and so the rumour started. The fact that Draco was willing to have the family line end with him, a family with over 1,000 years of history, really showed how much his wife meant to him and how desperate he was to keep her alive. He was extremely protective of her and would not allow her to waste any energy that wasn't necessary, as her curse was induced by continuous movement as she got older. When she eventually passed in 2019, Draco was left devastated, as was his son. Scorpius turned to his father to cope with his grief, and to his credit, Draco did the best, but the situation was extremely difficult for him to deal with himself. He'd spent so much time taking care of his wife that suddenly a huge part in his day opened up. Time alone with his thoughts and wishing there was some way things could be different. This woman had changed his life for the better in so many ways, and now she'd gone. Even his parents, who had seen Astoria as somewhat of a disappointment, even lent their support to him. Draco had enormous wealth, so he had no needs to work, which again freed up more time. Therefore, he began devoting time to preserving his family's many dark artifacts. He had little interest in them, but they had been in the family for so long, he felt it was only right to continue to look after them and make sure they held up well. He also took up an interest in alchemy, and he began studying alchemical strips in a bid to master the field. These hobbies helped him greatly, but he still missed his wife. He always would. He never lost anything important to him before, so this was a first for Draco. I don't like to go into too much detail as it pulls the cursed child storyline into this video, and that's something I really don't want to do, as it's the worst thing to happen to Harry Potter. Although I hear the play in person is pretty decent. Anyway, let's continue. It's not currently known if Draco met anyone else after Astoria's death, and to be honest, I can't see him meeting someone either. From the evidence of his love and dedication to his wife, he always appeared to be a one-woman man, and I really don't think he'd have the want or need within him to give his heart to someone else. Anyway guys, with that being said, that is my short video on how I thought Draco dealt with the loss of his wife. As usual, if you'd like to add anything in, please do so in the comment section below. What else do you think Draco would have done? I'd really like to know. Thanks again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever, so please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do, it's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDNJ and on Twitter at PotterFolklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.